I am making homemade Italian wedding ring soup, or sometimes I call it minestrone soup. The only thing minestrone soup doesn't have is it doesn't have meat in it. I get Johnsonville 3-cheese Italian style sausage, or I get just the ground Italian sausage in a meat department package. I put in 1 can of diced tomatoes, 1 can of Campbell's tomato soup, 1 can of Italian green beans, 1 can of light red kidney beans, 1 can of great northern beans. So white beans, black beans, you want 2 different colors of beans. I chop up a whole onion, and when I chop it up coarsely. And so everything goes in the soup. Some of my things didn't come off. Oops. For the beans, I put them in a colander and I rinse them off. Okay. Oops, I gotta use my cutting board for my sausage. When I do my sausage, I will use only one of those because it's for flavor. So I only use one. This is a soup, it doesn't have a lot of meat in it. And I'll cut them each slice up, and then I'll probably cut the slices, the little circles, in half. Also, sometimes I do, sometimes I don't add beef broth. Gotta poke a hole in here. Okay. Once you get all these things in a pot, you just cook it until the onions is done. It'll take, I cook it, maybe simmer it really low for an hour. Doesn't have to cook for a whole hour. Just as long as everything's, the only thing in here that's raw is the onions. So when the onions are done, the soup is done. Turn that on. Let's start it at medium. Make myself a cup of tea. Ward off whatever sickness I'm coming down with. But this, the only thing left to add is the sausage. So once again, 1 can of diced tomatoes, 1 can of tomato soup, or you can use, you can get a jug of V8, and I've used V8 instead of tomato juice, but I don't use the whole container of V8, and then I have leftover V8, and if I don't make soup right away, then the V8 ends up going bad. So this is easier for me, just to use tomato soup. Great northern beans, or the other kind of white beans, I forget what they're called, they got a funny name. You can use great northern beans, you can use navy beans, any kind of white bean, and then any kind of red bean. You can use light kidney beans, or you can use dark kidney beans, or like I said, one time I grabbed up a can, I didn't watch what I was doing, and I put black beans in it the last time I made it. It was good. Italian cut green beans, if you can't find Italian cut, just use regular green beans. And any kind of Italian sausage, I wouldn't use hot. And the last thing, I almost forgot, I cook this separate and cook them al dente. I'm just barely getting them done. Where they at? Nope, that's elbow macaroni.
With a clip on it.
It's got a clip on. Oh, that's almost empty, Tim. I might have to use, I like this kind of pasta. And you can see the picture. It's little short ones. You can use little shells, seashells. You can use elbow macaroni, because I think minestrone soup has just got elbow macaroni in it. And I'm probably going to use elbow macaroni because this isn't enough. And I cook it, and I don't put my pasta in my soup and then store it together. I keep my pasta separate, and each batch that I make, I add pasta to it. That way the pasta doesn't get liquefied and mushy and icky. So, yeah, that's how I do it. But it's fast, it's easy. I don't think it's particularly expensive. What's this sausage cost?
$3.
$3, and I make 2 things out of it. So, and the beef broth was what? A couple dollars?
$6.70.
So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It might cost $10 to make a pot. And you go, oh, that's a lot of money. But do you know how many meals this is? It's like, I don't even, you know, and if you want to stretch it, add another can of tomato soup, or add another, you know, can of green beans or something. You can always stretch it out that way. He doesn't like his soups really watery and thin. He likes them kind of thick. So I don't add a lot of liquid to mine. But, I mean, and it's so awesome. And it's such an easy vegetable soup. And the beans in it, and with the little tiny bit of meat for seasoning, makes it healthier for you. My tea water's boiling. Time to make my cup of tea.